The Karnataka Assembly has instituted a Bengaluru Metropolitan Land Transport Authority that will bring all transport and allied departments under a single umbrella to decongest and manage traffic better. 279 square kilometers of the Bengaluru metropolitan region will now come under the jurisdiction of this new authority, with the Chief Minister being its ex officio chairperson, which means he will be at the helm of affairs. The idea is to bring all departments concerned with transport under one roof. Multi-level structures are on the cards. The idea is to address Bengaluru's parking woes as well. The authority aims to promote seamless mobility through sustainable urban transport and integration of land use, as well as transport planning in the urban mobility region by preparing and updating a comprehensive plan. Well, we are going to go across to an expert on this entire issue, especially on the issue of congestion in Bengaluru. Trying to go across to Mr. Sandeep Aniruddhan, who will join us from Bengaluru. But before that, let's tell our viewers that this is a new and important step that has been taken by the Karnataka government. This is a bill that has been passed in the Assembly, and it is something that is going to come into force almost immediately, is what we are given to understand. Sandeep Aniruddhan, founder of Citizen Agenda for Bengaluru, joins us here on the program. Very good evening, Mr. Aniruddhan. Thanks for giving us time. You are a Bangalorean and you will have first-hand experience of what the congestion in the city is like. Do you think that this is a welcome step, that, to have all the agencies that work in this area of traffic management or parking management, all of that will now come under a single authority headed by the CM?
Shreya, it's a long overdue step.
In fact, this is Afrida.
Beg your pardon?
This is Afrida. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, sorry, Afrida. Yeah, so it's long overdue. In fact, this is part of the, the National Urban Transport Policy.
Yes.
And we are just catching up with the policy now. It has been a long-standing demand from citizens of Bengaluru. See, two things ail Bengaluru. One, the city government is not aligned with the 74th Amendment, which means the planning authority and the city government have to be autonomous and it has to be devolved. That has not happened till now. And the Unified Metropolitan Transport Authority, which ideally should be part of the city government actually, so that it's answerable to the planning authority and to the city government. Only then will it actually work. So right now, though the BMLTA bill has been passed, it has had no public consultation. We were loud about it. For the last 2-3 years, we've been demanding public consultation. That did not happen because the bill has a lot of inherent flaws. As you yourself said, the Chief Minister is the chairman of this committee of people.
Yes.
Now, the BMLTA, the way it is drafted, it just makes it a large committee of 36 people. And when there are large committees, no work will ever happen. So we are very circumspect that this will actually solve any problem, but it does one good thing. It brings all the players in the space on one conference table at least. It is a baby step. What we look forward to is that it will lead to at least some sort of synchronicity in planning, because in Bengaluru, what happens is, one, we lack mass transit because there's never been a vision for it. And the second thing is, every service provider works on its own. They don't report to the city government. So the bus service has its own plans. The metro behaves like it's answerable to nobody. And there's no interconnect between any of these services when they plan things.
And that has been a problem, Sandeep, in other cities as well. Whenever we encounter an issue, either there is a shifting of onus, or it is because of a certain area becoming a no man's land. Nobody wants to take responsibility. So at least that part, do you think now we know which is the nodal authority, and it is none other than the head of the government of the state?
Well, the problem with having the head of government of a state involved in a city problem is that it will never get addressed. It's like asking our Prime Minister to deal with issues of every state. Will he be able to do it? So that is the inherent problem with all city governments in India. The 74th
But then,
Amendment was passed
Sandeep,
in
then the issue will
1992.
be, there'll be a counter argument saying damned if you do, damned if you don't. This is
So,
something that
like,
many activists have been asking for. That,
Correct.
why don't we have a singular authority, a consolidated forum, consolidated
If you
authority?
look
And now
at
that it has happened, the question is,
Afrida,
will
if
they
you
even
look at all
address
the
all the local
conversations,
issues?
Afrida, if you look at all the conversations that happened over the last 3-4 years, in fact, ever since Dalt drafted the bill, the vocal demand from all activists and civic organizations is that you have a public consultation. Why can't an elected government, which represents the interests of our citizens, hold a public consultation? That's all
No,
we
but
wanted.
who's ruling that out? This particular authority can have public consultations even now. Are you saying that that is not part of the plan at all? What makes you think so?
No, see, the important aspect of a law is what is drafted. Now, see, once a law is passed, it's a very uphill task to get amendments done. This law is not in compliance with the 74th Amendment. It is not in compliance with the National Urban Transport Policy. The only win, and I consider this a win, is that they actually gave us a BMLTA. Okay. Now, that is a baby step. To make it work, it has to be logical. Now, how will 36 members sitting across a table come to any decision is going to be very difficult. Second, this particular law doesn't empower the BMLTA with fiscal powers, which means the BMLTA will be less powerful than all these bodies. The metro is highly funded. BMTC has budgets running into hundreds and thousands of crores. Now, BMLTA is just a policeman. It's like your traffic policeman on the street. If you're shouting at some rich Mercedes owner, the Mercedes owner will say, get lost. Now, that is the situation you'll put the BMLTA in. It has no fiscal control. Third, it is being asked to draft the comprehensive mobility plan for the city. That clashes with the function of the MPC. The Metropolitan Planning Committee is supposed to plan the comprehensive plan of the city, which includes a transport plan. There is a comprehensive plan there. Now, the BMLT is supposed to make another one, which will not, it will collide with that. So it's going to lead to a lot of confusion.
But Mr. Aniruddhan, why aren't you convinced, at least on one point, that here is an authority that can, at least within the limitations of a city with its current, compulsions, can still have a process that will streamline the traffic, that will reduce the parking woes?
So this will depend on how it is, what capacity is built into this. Okay. Will it have a team of urban planners and mobility planners? We'll need to see how will it get funded? Because see, a lot of bills are passed on paper. I can give you specific instances. We have a Metropolitan Planning Committee, which was formed almost a decade ago in Bengaluru. Yeah. It doesn't operate. It hasn't had a meeting. And the chairman of the Metropolitan Planning Committee is the Chief Minister. But every time the CTP has to be revised, the very same government enters the BDA to do it. It violates its own laws. At the same time, I remember there was a Karnataka Lake Development Conservation Authority. On paper, it was a very powerful authority, but that had a very small office and no staffing. They could not implement any rules, and therefore half the lakes in Bangalore got encroached.
Yes, these are important points, and I hope that people in power are listening to you, because what you have raised are very valid observations, and especially the part you said about how do you build consensus when it's a body of 36 members. There itself things can get stuck, as it always happens.
We need an authority. How can an authority be filled with people? Now, assume the head of this authority is an IAS official. Okay. Now, out of the 36 people, all of them will either be equivalent to him or superior.
Yes, so who's the first among equals? And the point about public consultation, really appreciate. Sandeep, thank you so much for joining us today.